give me the thumbs up, and I'm wondering where the thumbs up is coming from. This way, Kipper? Gotcha. I'll look in that general direction. You're good. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and esteemed dignitaries, I'm delighted to welcome you all to the Norcat Underground Centre, a one-of-a-kind underground operating mine that serves as an industry-leading training and innovation centre for the mining industry. Today we have the privilege of welcoming the Honourable Minister of Mines, George Pirie, and the Honourable Minister of Labour, Immigration, Training and Skills Development, Monte McNaughton, and Nick LaRochelle, President, United Steelworkers Local 6500, who have come together for an exciting announcement here today. But before I hand the mic off to Minister Pirie, I'd like to give you a little bit of background on today's venue. The Norcat Underground Centre is renowned for providing an immersive and experiential underground environment, offering invaluable hands-on training to new and experienced workers alike. By providing access to the latest technology in Norcat's blended experiential training programs, the Underground Centre plays a vital role in ensuring that the future mining workforce has the confidence and the competence to be safe, healthy, and productive in the sustainable, rewarding careers. We are thrilled to have the opportunity to host the Government of Ontario here today for an important announcement right here at the Norcat Underground Centre, where our priority every day is on ensuring that mining operations are conducted safely with the utmost care for well-being for our workers, students, and visitors. Thank you for joining us here today. It is now my pleasure to welcome to the Honourable Minister George Pirie to the stage.
Well, thank you very much for those kind words. I've got a number of prepared remarks here. First of all, I want to say thank you for everybody here attending this announcement. It's a very important announcement. It's transformational for the industry. I'd like to thank everybody here for the invitation for me being present at this occasion. I'd like to start off, because there's a lot of stats here that, of course, come with prepared remarks. But the most important stat that is out there, and it's not right to call this just a stat, but it's the safety statistics. It's the most important thing if you're running a company, if you're managing a company, if you're managing an operation. It's the number one thing you're concerned with is safety, doing it better. Everybody has to come home at the end of the shift safe. That's what this is all about. There isn't a ton of rock that's worth moving if somebody's going to get hurt getting it done. So I've been a mining executive, I've worked in mines, and now I'm the Minister of Mines. It's still the most important thing you can do, work safely. And that's what this facility is all about. I was here, I guess, about 30 years ago when it was opened. And it was all about the Common Core. And again, that was to develop a set of standards so that every individual, when they were trained, would be trained to the same standards. A number of my friends went through the Common Core. In fact, one of my nephews went through the Common Core in this exact facility. Not exact, because this is much bigger and better than it was 30 years ago. I want to compliment to the organizers and the people that run this facility. They've done a fantastic job. This is a fantastic facility. So my hats are off to you. As I said, I was here 30 years ago. Things have changed, and that's what this announcement is all about. And I won't say what it is, because this is Monty's announcement, so he'll let I don't want to steal his thunder. But I was just at the Creighton mine, 8,600 feet deep, and you go underground there. It's hot, but it's being transformed by the use of electronic vehicles. The air is clean. And it's incredibly important to understand that it's the critical minerals that are being mined right in this basin around and throughout Northern Ontario that allow that to happen. to build the batteries that allow these vehicles to be driven with the electronic technology. It's part of this critical mineral strategy that we've got, which is to secure the supply chains to ensure that we can handle and we can get everything right here in Northern Ontario and take our rightful position in the electronic revolution that's happening all across Ontario. I'll keep my remarks very, very short, but I want to talk a little bit about Minister McNaughton. He's Minister of Labour, Immigration, Training and Skills Development. I don't think there's a minister that works as hard as Monte. He really is. Every single day he's out there with the one overriding objective that he has is to ensure that things happen better, that the lives of the people that are working in every facility across Ontario, and of course I'm the Minister of Mines, so I'm partial to the folks that work in the mines. But that's Minister McNaughton, and he wears it on his sleeve. He wears it on his sleeve. I don't think you could possibly have a better Minister of Labour and Immigration and Training and Skills Development than the guy right here that's doing this job. We know the number of people that are employed. Like there's 47,000 people that are directly employed in the mining sector here in Ontario. And Minister McNaughton is doing everything he possibly can to make sure that things happen the right way and safely. Thanks, Monte. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Great. Well, good morning, everyone. And George, I just want to thank you for that introduction, but for your leadership. You know, you are the best Minister of Mines the province of Ontario has ever seen. When you think about someone who comes from a mining family, worked in mines himself, and then played leadership roles on the business side of mining. I mean, just an incredible addition to our team at Queen's Park. And I just want to thank George on behalf of Premier Ford and our government for all his work creating jobs and building the electric vehicles of the future right here in Ontario. And of course, all of these jobs that we're working to create are good jobs with pensions, and that's so important to families across Ontario. I also want to thank Jason and the team here at NORCAT for all the work that they're doing. I know we've done a number of announcements over the last few years. It's almost been 4 years since I've been the Minister of Labour, and we've done a lot of partnerships with NORCAT. They're doing incredible work, and this is yet another example of the work that they're doing. I'm also just truly honored to be here today with Nick, the President of the United Steelworkers Local 6500, and some of his union brothers and sisters. Nick, thank you so much. I'm going to talk about their advocacy and their work to improve the lives of miners in Ontario, and this announcement comes from the United Steelworkers. I'm just so proud that we've been able to partner on this, and we're going to do a lot more together. Nick's union represents about 2,700 miners in the Sudbury area alone, from mining to milling to smelting and so much more. So Nick, on behalf of the Premier, I want to say to you and all the United Steelworkers, thank you for all you're doing to build the province of Ontario. It's also been great working with District Director Miles Sullivan. I know he's not able to be here today. I think he's on the way to Pittsburgh to a Steelworkers Union conference. But Miles has worked really hard and closely with my office on this as well. I'm happy to be returning back to Sudbury for many reasons. Great things come from here, including my wife, Kate. She was born and raised here, so it's a bit of a homecoming for us, and we love to come back here a few times a year. Plus, as I told many people that are down here with us today, we met with friends last night to have a burger at Deluxe Hamburgers near the Four Corners, the best burgers in Northern Ontario, in my opinion. I also want to recognize Janice Martel. Janice, you're here somewhere, if you just want to put up your hand. Janice, thank you so much for being here. Janice is the daughter of Elliott Lake miner Jim Hobbs, who unfortunately passed in 2017. She has traveled right across Northern Ontario, meeting with families and friends who have watched their fathers, brothers, and sons live through hell after being forced to inhale McIntyre powder. Thanks to her for taking up their fight. Last year, Premier Ford and our government granted WSIB compensation to miners exposed to McIntyre powder. This means they now have faster and easier access to the compensation that they deserve and an apology for a tragedy that never should have happened. Nobody in Ontario should be waiting 40 years for justice. So working with Janice, the steelworkers, miners who lost family members and were impacted by McIntyre powder, working together, we got it done. So thank you, Janice, and a round of applause for Janice's leadership. Now, I don't have to tell anyone down here that miners are the backbone of Ontario's economy. Our success depends on the nearly 30,000 men and women who get up, go to work, and deliver minerals we all depend on. Every one of them are truly heroes. Almost half of these men and women work underground in dangerous conditions that must be continually monitored to ensure they return home safe to their loved ones and can live a healthy life long after retirement. I want miners and their families to enjoy their pensions. While I'm proud to say we have one of the best safety records in Canada when it comes to mining, more work needs to be done. To continue to keep these workers safe, we need to respond to the safety issues they raise. We owe it to them and their families to do more to protect them. Under the leadership of Premier Ford and with the hard work of Minister George Pirie, we're doing just that. We know that long-term exposure to diesel exhaust while on the job can be a significant cause of bladder and lung cancer and cardiovascular disease for our miners. Currently, Ontario has the highest diesel exposure limits in Canada. That is why we're introducing the toughest standards in North America to reduce exposure by 70% and keep our miners safe. These new rules will save lives by lowering the amount of harmful chemicals from diesel exhaust allowed in underground mines. This is something that miners and their union have called for years, and we're listening. Today, working together, we're going to get it done. But we're not stopping at these exposure limits. This is the beginning, not the end. On top of lowering exposure to these harmful chemicals, we're also improving ventilation, tightening diesel equipment requirements, and we're allowing specialized track-mounted robots to check for loose rocks, misfired explosive, and other safety hazards. Our mission is simple: to keep our workers safe. The changes we're making will keep our mines some of the safest in the world, and they'll protect miners throughout their careers, guarding their health and giving them and their families greater peace of mind. I look forward to continuing to work for miners, and especially to continuing our work with the United Steelworkers. Together, we can build a stronger Ontario that works for everyone. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Nick to the podium. He's been mentioned a couple of times. He represents thousands of miners here in the Sudbury area. And again, to Nick and the Steelworkers Union locally and across Ontario, thank you for your leadership. This is what happens when government, labour, and industry work together. So Nick, over to you.
Good morning. My name is Nick LaRochelle, and I represent 2,700 workers at Local 6500. This journey began when a public consultation for occupational exposure limits to diesel particulate was put out in 2018. We started in 2020. We wrote a letter to the minister asking him to reduce the limits. 2021, we sent another letter. 2022, we met with Minister McNaughton and requested that he pursue this, and we're here today. So thank you very much. This is excellent news today. The reduction of the occupational exposure limit by 70% is an awesome start. We look forward to continuing to work with the ministry to bring that number down to 20 micrograms per cubic meter. I'll just give you an analogy. On a smog day, you're asked to stay inside when it's 50 parts per million, and this current level from 400 to 120 is amazing, but think about that. You're asked to stay indoors at 50, and we're working at 120. So we're looking forward to the work that has to get done to bring that number down. So thank you very much.
Great. Well, thank you everyone again, and Jason and the NORCAT team, thank you for having us here today. And with that, I know we're all going to be around afterwards if there are questions, or we can take some questions now. Whatever's easiest for everyone.
If there's any questions, please come to the mic and state your name. One question, one follow-up.
Mr. McNaughton, Ian Campbell with CTV. What role do you see the province playing in helping to achieve this new goal? Do you see the province playing a partner role? Will they be helping, or will this be making sure companies aren't left behind, or will this be incumbent on the companies to achieve this standard?
Well, the goal here is to keep our miners safe. Companies are going to have this in place by September the 1st, so we're moving really quickly. One of the reasons why we hired 100 more health and safety inspectors, we've now have the most inspectorate in Ontario's history. They're going to be out ensuring that mines are in compliance with the new regulations. Again, this is common sense. I mean, we heard the concerns that the Steelworkers Union brought to us, and we quickly turned it around to take what we heard and put that into action. So we'll be out, we'll be inspecting. The good news is a lot of the mines are in compliance now. This new regulation will ensure that the rest of them get there, because they're going to have to.
And a question for Minister Pirie.
Sure.
In terms of this, I'm just wondering from your past experience, if you can build on maybe as a mining executive how transformative this is, and two, in your role as minister, has anyone been in touch from your office or yourself with the Neshkantaga, and can you give us an update on the Indigenous situation facing the Ring of Fire?
Well, we'll do the first question first. Yeah, this is transformational. Anybody who's worked in the environment knows that every company is committed to work to ensure that every worker comes home safely. And a big part of that is the air they breathe every single day. Ventilation is a huge part of that. Also, you can see what we're doing. Our focus is transforming the industry into electronic vehicles. The companies are doing that. I mean, you know what Vale is doing, you know what Glencore is doing, you know what Agnico is doing, Newmont. Again, they're all announcing innovations and operations that are committed to moving and doing their job in the best fashion possible, and that includes transforming the technology into electric vehicles. That'll go a long way, of course, to ensuring that the particulate counts are, in fact, at the lowest possible they can get to. As I said to the minister, or to our friend right here, that hopefully one day we'll be talking about zero. The Ring of Fire, you must understand that the Indigenous people are not a part of this. They're in the heart of it. The Webequie and the chiefs of Martin Falls and Webequie, they're the proponents for the duty to consult and the Ring of Fire. So they are driving it. They're driving the consultation with all the communities in that region. They're and in relation to the proposed new act, in Section 2, the language in relation to the duty to consult with both in Section 2 with duty to consult and the environmental regulations is exactly the same. There isn't a word that has been changed. So quite frankly, this bill is all about making the ministry more efficient and more effective. We're in the middle of consultations right now. In fact, we had the committees last week in Timmins and Sudbury on the Act. And then the next step is the clause-by-clause review of the bill. So that's exactly what's happening right now is consultation with all the parties. So thanks for your questions.
Hi there. Kelly with Northern Ontario Business. This is a question, I believe, for you, Minister McNaughton. As we just heard, the levels of diesel particulate have been lowered, but not quite what the USW was asking for. Can you explain how you arrived at the number you did?
Well, certainly, look, we're bringing forward the toughest measures in North America, but we're going to keep working to lower those. I'm proud that we've been working closely with the Steelworkers Union, and there's going to be more to do. From a health and safety perspective, I look forward from a training perspective to work with them, and we're going to continue to move that needle to improve health and safety for miners. This is an exciting and growing industry in this province, and we want to make sure that our miners are kept as safe as possible.
Can you talk a little bit about what the enforcement will look like in terms of, are we talking about fines? What will that look like for companies who contravene those regulations?
Absolutely. As I said, they are going to have to be in compliance by September the 1st. It'll be like other occupational health and safety risks. Our inspectors will be there. There's orders, there's fines, there's potential stop work orders, but it'll be a process that the health and safety inspectors follow. But I'm quite confident. I mean, this is what I alluded to before. With labor, government, and industry working together, we can improve health and safety. And it's great to see a number of the mining companies stepping up and supporting this initiative, because they want to get there too. And with the new technologies, it's going to improve the health and safety of miners.
Thank you.
Thanks. Great.
Any more questions? No?
Great.
Media?
Thank you, everyone, again, and we'll be around for a while afterwards. But again, thank you for being here. Thank you for everything that you're doing to build Ontario, and please be safe while you're building the future of this province. Thank you.